Hi crafty friends, it's Donna here from Donna is Playing Paper and DonnaDoll74 on Instagram. And I have a card for you today using coloured pencils, which are kind of sort of my nemesis. First a sip of tea. Today's stamp is called Sketched Florals and it's from Pink and Main. I want to stamp it twice in exactly the same place, but I also want to have it hanging off the edge of my card. And so I've just popped a little bit of extra cardstock into my Misty, and I'm going to leave that there so that I can line the stamp up again in the same place. I've stamped with a bright orange ink so that I can see clearly what I'm doing, but also so that later when I emboss with gold, if I don't quite get a good impression, the orange will still read through as a bit of gold. You'll notice when I cleaned my stamp set, the ink really stained it, but it's just staining. Stay tuned and have a look at when I use my brand new embossing ink pad on it and see what happens. Instead of working on white paper, I've started with a yellow base. It's a little bit brighter than I perhaps would have liked, but it's what I had in my stash. To colour each petal, I'm going to lay down some white in the highlight areas and then come in from the edges, shading in tones of pink and burgundy and peach and some greens. I'm working in layers, shading very lightly and building it up as I go. This footage has been sped up to double. If you'd like to see it in normal speed, it will sound a little weird because the audio will also be slowed down. But in the top right corner of your screen, there are 3 little dots, and you can click on those and go to playback speed and change that to suit yourself. When I say that coloured pencils are my nemesis, I mean this. I absolutely love the look of coloured pencil colouring. The amazing realistic effects that people are able to get with coloured pencils just blow me away. But most of my favourite coloured pencil work is done by others, and so I'm still working on it. So what you're seeing here is not the work of an expert, but something for those of us that are still feeling our way. It's a nice pretty effect, not realistic, but sweet all the same. As always, I'm going to show you a little bit of each of the types of things that I coloured so that you can get an idea of the colours that I used and the method that I used for the different elements on the image. You can choose to copy them or go your own way. Once I finished colouring, I was really happy with the image and I almost stopped at that point. But I had an idea in my head and I really wanted to see it through. And here's the completed image. I decided that I'd like to tone down that yellow a little bit around the image especially. So holding the pencil really lightly and at an angle, so that I didn't press too hard, I just shaded around a little bit. To tell you the truth, I could have and maybe should have gone in a lot harder. But once you've come so far on a card, I'm sure you know what I mean when you get scared and you don't want to wreck it. And now for the moment of truth. I need to line this baby up exactly. My hands have been all over this card, so I'm putting quite a bit of powder on it. And here's my new embossing ink pad, and I'm just going to freeze frame it here and show you that truly the stamp is stained, but that ink is going nowhere. It's not very attractive in your flat lay photos, but it does the stamp and it does your ink pads no damage as long as you've cleaned it off properly. One last double, triple check, and then wish me luck, we're stamping. Okay, maybe one more quick check. Stamping success. I'm going to heat emboss this with gold embossing powder. And I've tried to grab a little bit of footage of the powder melting, because I think that's everybody's favourite. Once the panel was cool, I cut it out using a stitched rectangle die. And then, it surprised nobody more than myself that I decided to turn it sideways and run the flowers vertically up the card. That had not been my intention at the beginning, but wherever I placed the sentiment, it covered too many flowers and I'd worked so hard on them. I've chosen a sympathy sentiment from the same stamp set, and I've used these large banner dies to cut it out. For those of you who haven't seen my little trick, I like to put double-sided tape on the back and peel back just 2 corners, and then, holding the paper by the corners that still have the backing paper on them, I wiggle the panel around until I'm happy with where it is, and then press down on the exposed adhesive before sliding out the rest of the strip. Now it's just a matter of popping up that sentiment with foam tape, and the card is done. I hope you've enjoyed this little exciting adventure with me. Feel free to like and to subscribe, and we'll see what excitement we can get up to next time. Stay safe, everybody. Bye for now.